Boars Khamzat Chimaev breaks the silence that he was on for a little bit. You know, after UFC 279, we didn't hear much from Khamzat Chimaev after he missed weight and, you know, created that shuffle of matchups when he was supposed to fight Diaz. But then because he missed weight, Diaz fought Ferguson, and then Chimaev fought Holland. It was all a mess. And then since then, we were thinking, is Chimaev going to come back to 170 and be involved in the welterweight title picture? Or is he just going to move up, assuming that they'll cut to 170 just too hard? You know, now we know, and he's made up his mind. He's not going to try and commit to the welterweight division. It seems like for right now, he's going to take his focus to the middleweight title picture. He was already calling out the middleweight champion Alex Pereira last November. But he names an opponent before fighting for the belt, which actually I like this because people would have complained if Khamzat would have just got the fight with Pereira without having earned the shot in the middleweight division by just coming back to middleweight for the first time in 2 years just to get a shot. Fans would have been annoyed, you know, but now Khamzat Chimaev gets a chance to beat the number 2 contender in that division, Robert Whittaker. That's who he names as his next opponent. And if he beats Whittaker, he's going to get the winner of Adesanya Pereira part 4. Although if Adesanya wins, they might do a 5th fight. You know, Izzy said that he wants to beat him twice if he does get that win over Alex Pereira. God willing, hopefully he does, because Izzy's my boy. But if not, if Izzy loses, which would suck, and we move on, then let's say Khamzat beats Robert. I'm going to get into that matchup soon. If he beats Whittaker, him and Pereira would be a huge fight because both guys, they got a lot of beef and they got to settle it in the octagon. So I like this. And I like that Khamzat grew a pair and he's actually going to fight Robert now. Because before he's like, I only want to fight the bad guys. You know, Robert is a nice guy. I only want to train with them. But now he's really about it. And he actually wants that smoke with the Reaper. Here's what he said in the video. He's like, I think I will fight Robert Whittaker. He's got no opponent. Paulo Costa ran away, true, after talking that much about me and Robert. So I will fight Whittaker. I want this fight, although I like him as a human being. He's a solid guy, doesn't trash talk, doesn't cross any lines. We are going to have fun in the press conference and fight each other. Boom! That's the next fight. We are going to get Khamzat Boars versus Robert Whittaker. It sucks we didn't get the Colby Covington fight. Oh well, Colby's going to fight Bilal Muhammad apparently. So, all right, Khamzat in the middleweight division. How does he do against Robert Whittaker? I think against any other middleweight, Khamzat Chimaev is successful. I think he can beat anyone else in that division. Unfortunately, I see him beating Adesanya, although I think it's a tough fight because Adesanya is not the easiest guy to take down. Israel does have a ground game. He's good at getting back to his feet, but Israel uses the cage to defend takedowns, and he gives up his back in moments, so Chimaev might find an opportunity to take his neck and slug him, which would hurt to say. He definitely beats Alex Pereira. He beats Cannonier. Marvin is a 50-50 fight. I think they cancel each other out with the grappling, and it's a striking match. That can go either way. The Brunson fight, kind of the same thing, but Brunson's on his way out. So right now, Boars beats him. Costa is a dangerous fight, you know, just due to, you know, he's just strong, big, good takedown defense. Hard to out-grapple because he himself has good grappling, but his physicality makes him hard to out-grapple. But Chimaev is also big, and he's also physical. So Paulo Costa might not have that edge on Boars, and Boars has that advantage with his chain grappling. Sean Strickland, tough fight, because Strickland has good takedown defense, but I think he could beat Strickland. Roman definitely beats Jack. He beats Dricus. He beats literally everyone in the top 15 is like a given win, apart from Vettori, and then the number 2 guy, Robert Whittaker. And that's the fight I'm actually going to talk about, not the other guys in this division. Him and Robert, because that's who he called out. Again, I think he beats the champion. I think he may beat the number 1 guy, as much as I freaking hate to say it. But Whittaker is where it may get difficult, because Robert Whittaker is a wrestler's worst nightmare. Okay, Khamzat Chimaev, we know how he beats people. Like, everyone knows what he wants to do. No one can stop it. No one can stop Boris from getting a hold of you, getting you down. You don't get back up. And when he gets you on the ground, he's quick to take your back and choke you out, or mounts you and just ground and pound you to death. But Khamzat Chimaev has only done that to Cans thus far. And Li Jingliang, he couldn't do that to Burns, but that's because of the slippery BJJ of Gilbert, and Chimaev also didn't want to take crazy chances on the ground with him. But he did that to Kevin Holland, but we know Kevin Holland can't deal with wrestlers. But Robert Whittaker can deal with wrestlers. Robert Whittaker is big for the middleweight division. He's not a small middleweight despite being a former welterweight. And he's a better striker than Khamzat Chimaev. He's faster, better technique. Yeah, Boris is decent on the feet. He does have power, but he doesn't move his head. He's an open target. Yeah, Whittaker can be a bit chinny. But does Boris catch Robert? I think it's unlikely, just due to the striking discrepancy between the two. You know, Robert can see the shots coming of Khamzat Chimaev. He can avoid that right hand of Khamzat Chimaev, stick and move, pick him apart, punish Khamzat every time he tries to close the distance. And then when Khamzat does get a hold of him, which he will, is Khamzat Chimaev going to impose his grappling on Robert and ragdoll him? That I highly doubt. That I don't see happening. I mean, he might take Whittaker down, but then Robert's just going to get right back to his feet. Now, if Khamzat Chimaev does actually manage to go out there and have his way with Robert in the wrestling department, then I'm going to be wowed. I'm going to be impressed. If he goes out there and he does to Robert, if Robert's a typical Chimaev, your everyday Khamzat Boris Chimaev victim who just gets taken down, mauled, TKO'd, choked out, then this guy is absolutely unstoppable, because Robert Whittaker is like the perfect package, the perfect style to beat Khamzat Chimaev due to his anti-wrestling and superior striking. And another thing to point out as well is Robert Whittaker is, he's got a better gas tank than Chimaev. We know that Khamzat Chimaev can slow down. When he was tested against Burns and eating big shots, he did fade, and Whittaker will not slow down. Like, he starts a bit slow, but he gets stronger as the rounds go on. Boris could come out hard and fast, but if he's unable to go out there and pose his style on Robert and can't get an early finish, he may fatigue from failing takedowns, eating big shots. The more tired he gets, the less likely it will be that he can take the big shots of Robert Whittaker. And then that could leave an opening for that vintage right high kick of Robert the Reaper Whittaker. And when Khamzat, his eye is all busted up, swollen up, he's tired, bloody, blood's going into his eyes, and he can't see, that's when the head kick is going to have an even more devastating effect, as opposed to when Chimaev is fresh and can see everything. When he's tired and his eyes are swollen shut, I think that's when that right kick to the dome is going to finish Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah, I think Robert Whittaker does win by TKO. I think Robert will stay composed through the early storm. I can see Khamzat winning round one just through being aggressive, holding Whittaker against the cage, Whittaker not having much output in the first round, just kind of downloading the data, letting Chimaev wear himself out. And then round two, Whittaker starts upping the output like he did as the rounds went on against Adesanya and even against Darren Till. And even against Vettori, he's going to up the output. He's going to start finding a home for those shots of Chimaev, making reads, finding openings to catch Khamzat. He's going to give up ground against Chimaev a lot less. The more his confidence grows through defending takedowns, the more he's going to press forward against Chimaev. And then Chimaev's going to be on the back foot. He's not good off the back foot. He does not move his head. So he's going to eat some damaging shots of Whittaker. He's going to be an open target for those combos. And I think probably around round three, Whittaker gets the right high kick. The 1-2 right high kick combo finish will happen for Robert Whittaker in the third round. Robert, third round, head kick, TKO, and punches. He'll drop him, follow up to the ground, finish him on the ground, kind of like he did to Jacare Souza. But I like that this fight is happening because Whittaker has no one to fight. I don't want them to rebook that Costa fight because screw Paulo Costa for bailing on Robert Whittaker like that in Perth, Australia. He doesn't deserve to have that fight rebooked for him. Screw Costa. He can get out of here. He can fight Sean Strickland instead of beating the number 2 guy who could get him to a title shot. Screw off, Paulo. I mean, you're going to leave anyway after your next UFC fight. So what's the point of rescheduling that fight? While Whittaker is waiting for the dust to settle between Adesanya and Pereira to pass the time, he gets to welcome Boris back to the middleweight division. And I think Boris will get his first loss and the hype will end. If Boris loses to Whittaker, I'd like to see Khamzat Chimaev go back down to welterweight, get a dietitian, work on making that weight back to 170, and I believe at welterweight, Boris could be champion because I think he beats Leon. And Usman, I think Usman for now beats him, but Usman is getting older. I don't see him fighting much longer or being in his prime much longer. So Chimaev has the best chance being champion at welterweight, because at welterweight, he doesn't have that stylistic kryptonite who can keep him from being at the top like Robert Whittaker in the middleweight division. But I cannot wait to see this matchup. It's only a matter of time before they do announce it. It's probably going to happen like late spring, early summer. And I think Whittaker wins. I don't know who to root for because I want to see Chimaev do well, earn a title shot at middleweight, and fight the winner Pereira Adesanya. But at the same time, Robert's so wholesome, and it's like I never root against him unless he's fighting Israel Adesanya. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this news. Let me know what you guys think of this matchup in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for this fight? And who do you have winning? Like and subscribe. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.